But as we advertised last week, and as we do not disappoint our listeners here on Kingston's most listened to hour-long sports talk program, we are now joined by the former Kingston Frontenac, now starting goaltender for the Sarnia Sting. He's on the bus right now, and John Cullen, great to have you on the program. Thanks very much for coming by.
Yeah, anytime, Tyler. It's great to be on with you.
John, let me ask you first off, as we look at this season you're having with the Sarnia Sting, you're only less than 20 games into the year, and you've already played more minutes this year than you played with the Frontenacs all of last year. The obvious question is, are you tired yet?
No, I mean, it's great to be in a different role this year with Sarnia. And, you know what, we got off to a good start. So, you know, I'm just really looking forward to coming back in to Kingston to show not only the fans, but, you know, Gilmore and Maverty what I can do.
No, absolutely, and let me touch as well on just your initiation into that Sarnia Sting organization, because when you were acquired, it wasn't absolutely certain that you would be the number one. They, of course, had Shane Campbell there at first. What was the early experience like in Sarnia? Did you feel like you had to sort of earn your way to being the number one, or when you were traded, was it clear that that was going to be your role?
Well, you know what, I knew that they wanted me to come in and play, but like you said, Campbell was here for training camp, so I just came in and, you know, really tried to be the hardest working goalie out there, and you know, really focused during the preseason games, and that obviously paid off when they traded Campbell to Ottawa and gave me the nod as a starter.
What have you thought of your years so far? With you got yourself a winning record, you know, statistics pretty well up there with most of the goalies in the OHL. How have you just thought of the start with this team so far, and of course having to adjust to being in a new conference as well?
Yeah, you know what, the West is a very difficult conference. You know, in the East it's more spread out, but here in the West, every game, every night is a battle. You know, for those 2 points. You know, I got off to a great start to the season with a shutout against Windsor at home. Yep. After that, you know what, we lost a few games that against Guelph and Saginaw that, you know, we'd like to have back, but we recently had a 3-game win streak. So, you know, like I said, it's a battle every night here in the West. I'm happy to be the starter. You know, I'm a competitor, I'm a fierce gamer. I love to be in the game. That's when I thrive. So I'm happy to have the opportunity here with Sarnia, and I'm excited about this weekend.
You got yourself, of course, another goaltender there, and a 16-year-old in Brandon Hope, who's sort of coming into his own as a junior hockey goaltender. What's your relationship like with the other goalie on this Sarnia team?
It's great. You know, he's another American. He's from Michigan, and you know, I see a lot of myself in him when I was my first year in the league. So I'm just trying to help mentor him, bring him along. You know, he's an excellent goaltender with a great skill set, and he's going to make some serious noise in this league when his time comes. So it's a great relationship. We still compete hard in practice, but, you know, I've kind of taken him under my wing a bit to show him the ropes of the league here.
And he's also obviously gotten himself a good amount of playing time early on in the year, very important for 16-year-old players. When it comes to the goalie situation in general in Sarnia, John, how upfront, how direct is the coaching staff about who's going to play when and how they're going to have you guys sort of share the load in the goaltending duties this year?
Yeah, you know, McQueen's been great, not only with us, but the whole team. But, yeah, they're very upfront with us. They let us know in advance who's going to be playing. And, you know, when I came in after a couple of preseason games, they really sat down and we're on the same page. Oftentimes last year I felt like I was underused by Coach Gilmore, and, you know, it was difficult to stand by and not play as much as it happened last year. So, you know, it was frustrating, but I tried to be the best teammate I could in Kingston, and when the time came, I asked to be moved and get my opportunity to be a professional hockey player.
We're on the line with John Cullen, the former Kingston Frontenacs goaltender, now, of course, #1 goalie for the Sarnia Sting, who will face the Frontenacs this weekend. John, as far as coaching goes, you sort of touch on it there, but Dave McQueen now, your coach in Sarnia. What are the differences between his coaching style and that you've experienced with Doug Gilmore the past 2 years?
You know, I have nothing but good things to say about Coach Gilmore, other than the fact that, you know, obviously I didn't get the playing time I needed.
Right.
He was great to me off the ice. You know, we worked hard, and you know, Coach Gilmore was great, knowing that he had spent that time in the National Hockey League, and, you know, obviously won a Stanley Cup. So it was great to the stories he would tell us, and how much he tried to impose a professional atmosphere, and he's doing a great job there in Kingston, and I wish him all the best of luck. But McQueen, he's a very intense coach. He's obviously been around for a long time, and he's great. His practices are very high tempo, and he's a great teacher. Our systems, we've seen a lot of success early on because how much we've practiced our systems, and that's what Coach McQueen's great about. We do a lot of video work, and I know all the guys here in Sarnia are happy to have a coach with that much dedication.
John, as well, when we think back to your time in Kingston, you've mentioned it a couple of times here. It's the elephant in the room. I have to mention it. You didn't get the playing time, not only that you needed to develop, but that a lot of fans thought that you deserved. Was there ever an attempt made by the organization to explain to you why you didn't get that playing time?
Yeah, I had numerous talks with both Maverty and Gilmore, and they just kept articulating that Beskorowany was brought in for a reason, and they needed to play him, and that I'll have my time. So, I didn't want to be a distraction to the hockey club. Obviously, it's team-oriented goals first. So I just kind of, worked hard in practice, tried to prove myself. But yeah, I obviously took the steps that I thought were necessary to try to get in the net. There was obviously just something that I was missing, but like I said, I'm happy to be in Sarnia to have my chance to be a starter in this league, and look forward to proving something on Sunday.
But if they're saying things to you, John, and not to harp on it too much, but if they say things like your time's going to come, and then we have the example of an Oshawa game last year, for example, in Oshawa against the Generals, where everyone expected you to start, and then out of nowhere, Frankie Palazzi's got the start for the Frontenacs, and the team got absolutely killed. I don't know if you remember that one specifically, but for a lot of people, it just seemed like there wasn't a real definitive plan with you. Did you feel that way at all, that even though they said Beskorowany was the #1 guy, you should have been getting a heck of a lot more than you did?
Yeah, it was a very tough situation for me, but at the same time, like my mother's always said, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I just tried to take it as a learning experience as much as I could, and really kind of use it as motivation for this year, moving forward. I do have my opportunity here in Sarnia, and that's, I'm just kind of trying to focus on only that, and it does make it that much sweeter if I do get the victory against Kingston when we play them twice a year. So, I've had this game marked on my calendar since I got the news, and I'd be really happy if we came out with 6 points this weekend.
I was just going to ask about that. Obviously, as you say, you've had it marked on your calendar, but as you mentioned off the top there, can you sort of expand on what you said when you said you want to prove to Larry Maverty and Doug Gilmore what you're capable of? Do you feel that they aren't or weren't aware of what your capabilities were when they played you so little the past 2 years?
It's tough to say, Tyler. I don't want to say that... I knew what I could do all along, and I tried to show that to them as much as I could with my play, more than my words. So, I think that I am a starter in this league, and that when I came over from Niagara, I was playing a lot, so it was definitely tough. I had a couple knee injuries along the way. They were supportive through that, but like I said, I always thought that I wanted to be in the net, so... they didn't see that, and I knew obviously I had to move on with my career.
Obviously, despite not playing a lot the past 2 years, John, you've stayed on your game and you're still a capable #1 goaltender. How did you make sure that not getting a lot of playing time didn't become a detriment to your game overall as you went into this year?
Like I said before, using it as motivation, but other than that, just being, using all the practice time I got and what little game time I did see last year to, really build on things. I had a great goalie coach in Kingston, Corey Cooper. He was very great. All the things he did for me was wonderful, and, we were on the ice almost every day, and I stayed very busy in the summer, staying on the ice, working with different goalie coaches to hone my skills. And, I had support from my family and a lot of close friends and a lot of great people in Kingston that, told me to just keep working and that I'll catch my break. And, I appreciate all the support from everybody in Kingston. I never wanted to leave there. When I first got traded there, it was a dream come true. I really loved the city. The fans were great, and it was tough to leave.
Is there anything in particular, I was sort of going to ask you, you mentioned missing the fans and the community of Kingston. Is there anything specific that you miss most about being a Kingston Frontenac?
Well, just only the fact that when I came in, I was after that span of losing. You know, the year I got traded was Doug's first year. He had just came in a few games before. And, you know, I really felt when I got to Kingston, I wanted to be part of bringing back the winning ways to Kingston. And to not have my real opportunity to do that is obviously disappointing. You know, I know the Kingston fans are very loyal and sometimes hard on the team, but I wanted to be a part, you know, bringing that winning ways back to Kingston. And, you know, because everybody there loves the game so much, and there's such a rich history. So yeah. I just enjoy all the time I got to spend there. I got to do a lot with the community, and that was great. I met a lot of great people. I had great billets, and I met a lot of great people through the organization like yourself. So, you know, that I'll keep with me forever on my journey here.
You actually considered me a great person?
Always.
Wow, not bad at all. It's the greatest compliment I've been given by anyone who's ever been associated with the Kingston Frontenacs organization. So there's a first on this program, John. Thank you very much for that. But when you mention bringing back winning ways to Kingston, which obviously you didn't get the chance to do, when you're in Sarnia now, a team that's obviously still rebuilding, do you feel like you're in a way getting that chance as well? You're also in another community that does seem to have a pretty good support as well for its team?
Yeah, Sarnia is a very blue-collar town, and that's what I can really associate well with that coming from Buffalo. So, you know, it's good because the fans are always around to come to practices and, you know, to interact with the community that's a bit smaller than Kingston. You know, it's interesting and it's good to see. You know, it feels good when you win. You look out at the fans and, you know, they're all cheering hard for you all games. So it's a great feeling to give back like that. And yeah, you know, we got a good young team here in Sarnia. Obviously, they're trying to rebuild to the future, but, you know, I think we can make some noise this year. We have two good, one great import, Nail Yakupov, the recent OHL Player of the Month, and, you know, he is just spectacular. He'll really turn some heads, and it'll be good for the people in Kingston to see, you know, what these two young players can do. The other one is Alex Galchenyuk, obviously the first overall selection in the midget draft. So, you know, they're two young players that are obviously going to have great careers in the National Hockey League. So, you know, I skate with them. I have the opportunity. We skate almost every morning. We have the ice at the Sarnia rink, and we do drills with Alex Sr., who played in Russia. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's great to get out there and skate with them and see the type of hockey that they play. And, you know, obviously their shots are great, so.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, it's been an interesting situation for Sarnia, and just for people who aren't aware, I mean, you mentioned Nail Yakupov, 31 points in 18 games already for the 16-year-old. It's a bright future in Sarnia. But John, let me ask you one more thing about Kingston, because you know these guys who play for the Frontenacs right now, and they're a team that here in Kingston, the media is quickly pegging as Memorial Cup contenders. From what you know of the team, from the fact that they just traded for Ryan Spooner this year, and your expertise of the way that they're coached as well, how much should Kingston fans expect out of the Frontenacs this year in your estimation?
It's tough to say because I really know the team from last year, but I know that Coach Gilmore, you know, has the tools to take a team to the Memorial Cup. Whether he has the tools this year remains to be seen. Like I say, this Sunday will be the first time I get to see how the team looks this year. Obviously, with Goodbranson coming back, that's great. And you obviously have guys like Fine and Warwick and Moon. You know, those guys can definitely put the puck in the net, and with the addition of Spooner, you know, they should have a pretty solid lineup. So, you know, we'll see Sunday. Like, that'll be my first real look, and, you know, Coach Kiley and Gilmore, they know what they're doing. So if they feel they have the team, then I think they can make some noise, and Kingston fans might be able to see some winning, but hopefully not this Sunday.
Are you going to have many people that you know from your time in Kingston in the crowd on Sunday, too?
Yeah, I mean, I kept in touch with my billets, obviously, and other people I met as well. So it'll be good to see the old familiar faces, and it'd be even better if I could come out of there with a big win in my old town.